Hello, James here. Thank you for coming back and watching another one of my videos. Today's video is just going to be a bit about my workshop. I've had a few messages about yesterday's video, which I do apologise for. The audio was quite poor on it. I didn't realise until after the video, and then I just didn't have the motivation to redo it. So you're stuck with it, unfortunately. But yeah, lesson learned. My radio microphone needs to be on my belt and not close to any other electrical bits and bobs. So my workshop, basically, it's just a shed. It's just a glorified shed. That's my front door to the shed there. In fact, if I go outside, that's basically it. The shed. And once you go inside, some of it's insulated, some of it isn't. But yeah, this is what you get. It needs a bit of a tidy up, but I have to say it's tidier than it was before. Just close that door, get some heat in. So yeah, I've got some blinds over the windows purely because the sun travels to the front of the shed in the afternoons and dazzles me and kills the screen. And basically what I've got here, as someone's quite rightly pointed out, is just a kitchen work surface, just cut down to size. Which is great because it's easy to clean, relatively heat proof and scratch proof, great for when you're doing your soldering irons or you're cutting on it. It doesn't really leave too many marks. The first thing you come across is a computer monitor and keyboard and some little shelving rack things there, some drawers. That's really for when I'm doing my computer repairs, rather than having to dismantle these computers here. I can just plug in the cable and those bits and bobs straight into the computer to work on. Power supply. I can't remember the user's name, apologies, but someone left a message on my YouTube earlier on concerning the power supply and the Anderson power pole connectors. And I've mentioned that the reason I do this, or been doing the power pole connectors, is just for ease of use, so I can plug in or move with the radios in. In the past, if you remember any of my old videos from my old shed, this is what I used. I had this cable plugged into this power supply here, and basically these are just like banana plugs, and everything just plugged into there. So I had 4 separate outlets, 12 volts, to power radios and anything else that needed a 12 volt supply. Still a good idea, and it's still fairly useful, and it's something that I will soon connect back up to this device. However, an idea that he's given me, very good idea, is to actually put some Anderson power connectors on here as well. Just leave them flying on the top, on loose, or can actually glue them down, I guess. And that connected to the power supply would give me just more versatility. Is there such a word as versatility? It'd make it more versatile anyway. So that's one of the next things I want to do. So yeah, so that's the radio that I'm currently using. My amateur radio equipment is currently in my vehicle. I do have a Yaesu 2 meter 7 centimeter, which I currently use, but the antenna is not up at the moment. So that will be mounted on here soon when it is. But just for playing around, CB. It's okay, it is what it is. It's nothing great. A lot of idiots around near where I live, but it's still something I play with. Next project, this Midlands. This is my 248 XL multi-band CB. Not very keen on it really. The audio is very tinny. It's quite synthesized audio as well, whereas one of the things I like about the Harrier, it's just better audio. But this gives you the extra frequencies that I use, and the thing I'm doing to this now is just changing all these power leads and putting on my Anderson power connectors on. And again, this is a cigar lighter adapter with the old-fashioned sort of connector on. That's going to be coming off, and Anderson's on there as well. So effectively that power lead will plug into any vehicle, and I can plug any radio I'll have into that. That's the general idea. And then obviously those radios will also plug into here. But anyway, moving on. So that's that. Computer, 2 screens, just one computer, split screen graphics card adapter I've got, which means on this one computer I can have one application open. In this case is YouTube. On this one I can have this is programming software. I've just been programming one of my handheld radios. So that's what that's all about. Wireless mouse and keyboard just makes it a bit easier. I can just move everything over to this side of the workshop and have no wires to worry about. This is my little CCTV that just goes to the front of the house, just so I can see if there's anyone at the front door, because obviously being in the rear yard I can't hear anything. Printer, some radios I'm currently playing with, blah, blah, blah. More bits and bobs. On the wall it's actually carpet tiles. Someone asked me what it was. It's actually carpet tiles, and I got this shelf and I just covered it's in carpet tiles. And if you go underneath, which I was quite pleased about, I bought these little LED lights. I got these from Apple Electronics, about £15. I redid the switch and control box underneath, and it just illuminates my work surface a little bit more, because this side here is where I tend to do most of the soldering and electronics and finer detailed work, and this is more the other sort of work I do. Yeah, just storage containers, anti-static mats, sorry, screwdriver set, loads of power supplies and adapters in there. My new soldering iron, I say new, it's a couple of months old now. It's not amazing, but it's okay. It's variable temperature control. Works well. This isn't tomato ketchup in here. This is actually water for the sponges for here. And that's it really. Cable clips, just more tapes and various other bits and bobs which I have there. This is the messy side. This is what I'm going to be sorting out and tidying up soon. All my spare screws and nails and bits up there. Then these other containers are just full of car phones, transceivers, various bits of wires. You can see the wires, the crocodile clips. They were taped up on the wall, but they fell off. This is all basically me box of junk in there. Got an old transportable, these things soon I'm going to be putting on sale on eBay, I think. An old phone. It actually works. It does actually work. It doesn't work on the networks, obviously, because there's no analog networks anymore. But it does work. Powers up. So that's just something that I'm going to be sorting out and getting rid of very, very soon. Finally, this wall here, this is where I have a bit of a charging station, as I like to call it. I've got a solar panel on the roof. It's only a small one, it's only sort of 15 watts. Not charging anything at the moment. As you can see, there's just no sun. It's very, very cold and icy outside. Getting a bit dark as well. But basically, in fact, let me just put the camera up. Basically, what you see here, try not to create too much of a shadow, but what you see here is the charger controller. This charger controller connected to the solar panel, I think it's about 15 watts, which basically has a cigar lighter plug. And I have various different power supplies. In fact, I'll go and fetch another one over, including this one here that I use. Now, I can plug this into this device here. This is a power supply that I've fairly recently just bodged together. Basically, it's a 12 volt, 12 amp hour lead acid battery. It was a spare one. It wasn't really being used for very much, so I just soldered myself the 12 volt outlet, little cigar lighter adapter on the top, and soldered them directly to the battery. And I glued it on as well. I then had a spare 12 volt DC to AC inverter, which I decided was quite useful to have on the same battery pack. So I've actually just taped it on, not done anything fancy. I've just sort of insulation tape and fastened it on. It's not a brilliant job, but it was never supposed to be a permanent thing. It was only temporary whilst I did a bit of work on a project. And it happens that I've just kept it together as it is, and it is really, really good. It's very, very useful to have. So the idea is that that can sit there when I'm not using it. Try to keep the place tidy. That just plugs into the battery, and that is now charging from the sun. Obviously nothing at the moment, but that will keep it charged up nicely. Now what I do tend to use is, if I'm not doing any projects where I need this battery and it's sort of doing nothing at all, bearing in mind it is constantly charging, I plug in this row of adapters here, and I've got my battery charger for my AA's and AAA batteries there. I've also got this other one. This is for charging 9-volt batteries, the PP3s. So basically I can just switch that unit on and charge these things free of charge. It doesn't cost me any money in electricity whatsoever. They're all low current, so you know, I've never had a problem with it running out. I've actually left this on charge overnight, and it's worked fine. Slightly smaller version, again I had a spare battery that I used for one of my old radios, a 12 volts. This one is the one I showed you yesterday's video, it's 3.3 amp hour battery. Exactly the same principle. I just stuck this spare adapter, 12 volt adapter on the top, and you know, when you're using your radios or you've got chargers for various mobile phones or laptops or whatever, it's fantastic. And again, that sits next to it, and when I need to charge it, I just plug it into the charger. This is a smaller version. I made this years ago. Project box, and guess what I've got? That's it, another 12 volt outlet. Used for smaller things, mainly just for mobile phones. But again, that can charge you up. It's got about 10 rechargeable AA's in there, so not great current capacity in there, but it's still, you know, for when you need to charge a mobile phone or a device that you'd normally charge from your car, that will charge you really well, nice and portable. So that's something that I use just for testing things with. When there's no sun and I have a completely flat battery, this is a mains charger. There's just got these crocodile clips on here that just clip straight into the battery to charge them, so that's always gives me that option if I need it. Moving down, what have we got? Let me adjust this camera. Yeah, just spare batteries down here, a few spare bits and bobs, and that's it really. Storage on this side. Let me move the camera around. On this side, storage container boxes there, which you've got various bits in, various other bits in there, spare chargers up there that plug in. Interestingly enough, I can't get it out now, it's a bit trapped in there. I've got 12 volt car jumper battery thing in there. That's quite a hefty one. I think it's a 40 amp hour. And it's the same principle. You've got two 40 volts inverter built into there and cigar light adapter, which is effectively what I've got here. 12 volts inverter, 12 volt outlets, and this battery itself was from a smaller version of one of these, and that battery alone will jump start a petrol car. I think the last vehicle I used it was from a Focus 1.6 or 1.8 size engine. So jump leads onto this battery will jump start your car. So effectively that's all you're buying when you buy one of these car jump starters. This is just a cheap way of doing it. It doesn't look quite as nice, but hell, does it really matter? You know, it's half the price, and what you see is what you get. It does the job, and what more can you really ask for? So there you go. So there you have it. That's my workshop. One thing you didn't see is the camera mount, which is immediately as you come in on the left hand side as you come into the door, but it's just a camera mount, and that holds the camera. It's not a very good camera, as you can see. It doesn't give you a very wide angle, which is why everything seems a bit crammed, and I can't really do much detail, and it's not HD either. Hopefully for Christmas I'll get myself a new one, who knows. But that's it, yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. It takes a long time to establish a good workshop. I've changed things around quite a lot, and in my older shed that you saw on previous videos, very cramped, and it's very easy to get cluttered up and have loads of junk stored, and that's one of the things you've got to really try and avoid. So I try to keep this place as tidy as I can and clutter free as much as I can. But you know, it's a place you spend a lot. Well, it's a place I spend a lot of time in, so it does pay to keep it in clean condition. Also, you don't lose things as much either, I've noticed. So you know, one of those things. So if you've got any suggestions, or if you want to reply and put one of your videos of your workshop, be interested to see it. And that's it really. Next projects I've got coming up, a few more repairs, a few more leads, and new adapters for these power supplies I'm going to make, I think. So who knows, I'll probably have another video coming up fairly shortly. But thanks for watching. Bye bye.